Let's give you one more report, and this one is concerning US President Donald Trump. He says he will, in his words, de-escalate a little bit the situation in Minneapolis. It comes amid mounting backlash after immigration agents killed 2 Americans in the city this month. So let's get more from CNA's Elizabeth Neo, and she has the details for us as well.
He wants an honorable and honest investigation. He refused to be drawn into criticism as officials labeling the second American killed, Alex Preti, a domestic terrorist and assassin.
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room will view that as a very unfortunate incident. Okay, everyone, unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
The angry fallout has prompted the president to shake up the crackdown's leader. Gregory will be reportedly replaced by Border Security Chief Tom Homan, whose mission is apparently to recalibrate tactics. Mr. Homan is in Minnesota and has met the state governor and Minneapolis mayor. Governor Tim Walz says he and Mr. Homan agreed to work towards impartial investigations and reducing the number of federal agents. Mayor Jacob Fry says he reiterated that the enforcement action, known as Operation Metro Surge, must end as quickly as.
Elizabeth Neo with a wrap of the news on CNA 938 with me, Melanie Olivero. For more news, you can go to cna.asia, or of course, you can stay with us on CNA 938. Time now on CNA 938 is 2:11. Beauty pageant founder and boss Lavanya Priya is in the house, as is a contestant under a care for the Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026 really contest, and of course beauty contest and pageant. We'll talk all about it in just a while, but first let's give you traffic and weather. So when it comes to what's happening on our roads, you got to look out for a vehicle that is broken down on the PIE towards Changi after Bukit Timah. Congestion till Bukit Timah Road itself, avoid lane 3. Also an accident on BKE towards PIE just before the SLE area on lane 4. And when it comes to the BKE again, you got to look out for a stalled vehicle there, BKE towards Woodlands after SLE. Checking on the weather right now. Before we get there, let's see what the temperature is right now in Singapore. It's 31 degrees Celsius all over Singapore. Not raining at the moment, it's just partly cloudy. No windy situation either. Thursday and Friday, there could be afternoon thundery showers, as according to the NEA. And the lowest is going to get tonight is 24 degrees Celsius.
Escape the weather with you. Mitsubishi Electric Starmax Aircon saves you energy and money, is easy to clean, and is one of the finest.
Talk to us anytime. WhatsApp CNA 938 on 963 11938.
Hi, I'm Dr. Vilma.
Okay, everyone ready? Okay, very good, very good.
Non-profit Singapore.
We're going to start in a while, yeah?
Swag.
Arranged
You're listening to Made in SG with Melanie Olivero on CNA 938. Now, Made in SG with Melanie Olivero.
Made in SG examines what it's like to run a beauty pageant and the joys and hiccups that come along with it. Let's see what it's like. I'm Melanie Olivero. This is CNA 938. The late great actress Audrey Hepburn once famously said, "True beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul." So how possible is it for us to see that when it comes to displaying female beauty and grace at an average beauty pageant? You and I know that beauty pageants have been around for decades upon decades, with Singapore being no stranger to them, with fans saying such contests also showcase a contestant's talents, her inner and outer beauty, while others say this is a sexist meat parade of impossible bodies. Well, as for keeping up with time, Miss Universe Singapore's made a recent announcement allowing married women, divorcees, and mothers to compete, although the inclusion of a minimum height requirement of 1.68 meters still stays. So let's see and learn more about the beauty contest universe and bring on Lavanya Priya. She's the founder and CEO of Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026 pageant, and Krishna Veni Naidu. She's a contestant at Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026, representing her compatriots in this interview as well. Welcome to CNA 938, Lavanya and Veni. Can I call you Veni?
Yes, can.
Okay, Veni. Before we start talking about the pageant and your roles in it, can you tell us who is your favorite beauty queen? Present company, of course, talking about yourselves, not me, not included, who went on to achieve more success once her reign was over. For me, that would be Miss Universe 2015, Pia Wurtzbach. She's no doubt doing a lot for what she believes in, and she's being glamorous doing that as well. What about you? Let's start with Lavanya.
Thank you so much, firstly, Melanie, for having me in this beautiful studio. And personally, for me, I've grown up watching Priyanka Chopra as well as Aishwarya Rai. They have been my role models, not just in beauty, but I really love how they use their voice to be very bold in all the social issues. I think you've seen Priyanka Chopra. She's also a goodwill ambassador for children's rights, and I just love how bold and unapologetic she is when it comes to all these women issues. So my personal favorite would be both of them.
Okay, excellent. What about you, Veni?
For me, it would be Priyanka Chopra.
Uh-huh.
In a young age of 18, her winning the crown for her country really inspired me and made me believe in myself that age is never a factor for anything. And what stands out to me was that how she transformed her pageant into a global career, and she was also a strong advocate for mental health and education. And because of that, she really proved that crown can be a launchpad and never a label. Thank you.
That's right, thank you. And yes, indeed, she's also married into Hollywood and music royalty because she's married to the pop star Nick Jonas as well. So Priyanka Chopra Jonas sometimes, as she wants to be known. Okay, now we're all here to talk about Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026, the pageant. Lavanya, you're its founder, so can you tell us more? Because it's titled Miss and Mrs. ASEAN,
Yes.
I am assuming it's open to women who are both single, married, or they can even be divorced. So who are they, and must they be from the ASEAN region? Can you give us an overview of this pageant?
Certainly, Melanie. So for Miss and Mrs. ASEAN, there's no form of criteria because I truly believe that all women are equal. Every woman deserves a platform to be given the opportunity to speak about social issues which they are passionate about. So in Miss and Mrs. ASEAN, there's no criteria, there's no marital status, there's no age. We even accept health conditions. One of our contestants actually have Parkinson's disease, and we are so happy and proud of her that she actually made it to semi-finals as well. And we have there's no financial barriers. So that is what Miss and Mrs. ASEAN is all about. Also, I would like to talk about the training. I think we'll cover the training later.
We will.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you, Lavanya, so when you said there are no preconditions when it comes to how they qualify,
Yes.
what about the minimum height requirement? Is there one?
So as mentioned earlier, there's no requirement. So we love all kind of body size. If you have seen all our contestants, every woman is beautiful in their own body and their own skin, and we really take pride in that. Basically there's no criteria when it comes to Miss and Mrs. ASEAN.
Which includes age.
Yes, it's pretty much a name which I came up with it my own. It's like my baby. I really took a while to come up with a name when it came to this pageant. So I was thinking, wait, Miss and Mrs. Why are we? I need to be inclusive. So that's when I thought, wow, Miss and Mrs. ASEAN. It sounds like a really prestigious title. And yeah, it just happened overnight, and here we are.
So which means that if a woman in her 70s or 80s who wants to compete, like you said, no criteria involved, she can be with you
100%.
too. 100%.
I've seen 70-year-olds who look gorgeous
Yes.
at their age. So 100%.
Open to everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about other pageants that have a brand presence as well. There's Miss Singapore Universe, Miss Singapore World, Miss Earth Singapore, Mrs. Singapore World, Miss Singapore International, and so on. So there are quite a lot. I haven't mentioned there are others out there
There's a
too.
lot.
Why the need for another pageant like yours?
Okay, I mean, there's many pageants that exist, which is really good. I'm glad there's a lot of pageants exist.
Yeah.
And every pageant operate differently. Okay, so for Miss and Mrs. Okay, so when it comes to pageantry, when I was younger, I really thought that pageant was just mainly about just beauty, walking beautiful and all that. And of course, we mature, right? And then I realized, wow, this platform, it actually can make a huge difference if done correctly and responsibly. And that's when I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to come up with my own. And that's why I created this pageant. So it pretty much focuses, for Miss and Mrs. ASEAN, it focuses on growth, training, and purpose, and not on payment. And we invest, or I invest in my contestants. And we actually just are looking for a woman who can create real impact beyond just the stage.
And when they're the winner of Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026,
Yes.
where do they go after that? Is there another pageant they have to take part in?
So at this point of time, because I'm not tied into any international pageants,
Yeah.
Miss and Mrs. ASEAN is something that I create on my own. Pretty much I can still get the international license. But to answer your questions, yes, definitely there will be many opportunities. It is not just we just stop here. I'm tying up with India. I'm tying up with people from Bali and trying my best to get my beautiful queens, all these opportunities they deserve for the hard work. So yeah, definitely I will be getting licenses from international. I'll see where these girls, I can give them opportunities. Yes.
What would the prize look like then?
So at this point of time, if you ask me, I'm running this pageant solely
Yeah.
by my own. So at this point of time, in terms of price, I have not put a price out yet. But I think when it comes to pageantry, to me personally, I feel that the real prize is the journey itself. What you gain out of it, the experience, the growth, the development, the sisterhood, the friendship. There's so much more meaning and winning that you gain out of the pageant than just looking at 5,000, 10,000. So that is what I pride in terms of.
Will there be a tiara or obviously there's going to be a sash?
Of course, definitely.
But
yeah,
a
definitely.
queen's got to walk away with something. So what apart from that
Yes.
and bragging rights and this recognized title,
Yes.
what else will they get?
So our crown winner. So in our pageant, not all the queens can get crowned. There's
Yeah.
only one crown, and that one crown will go to that special winner. And there's a sash, of course, bouquets. And we are in talks with India. I'm hoping to be able to get them an opportunity in terms of the movie industry. So many exciting things coming up for my queens. I've not revealed to them, and I don't want to reveal yet.
So many
But-
questions because
yes.
these questions do make sense.
Yes.
And they inevitably will come.
Yes,
So when
100%.
100%, right? So when it
Yes.
comes to a crown and a tiara, not
Yes.
yet. You have to look for sponsors. You got to
Definitely.
you got to canvas all these kinds of jewelry makers to see if
Yes.
they want to sponsor a tiara or a
Yes.
crown every year.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, since you're speaking about sponsors,
yeah.
when it comes to pageant, it's really like how they say you need a village to raise a baby. To create a pageant, you really take a village as well. There's so many people involved, and for me, like I said, I started this solely by myself, but I'm really grateful and honored to have all my partners and sponsors who were initially friends who actually stepped in only because they truly believed in the vision that I put across to them. I mean, they could have easily rejected. I did face rejections. They could have easily rejected me, but just because they really believed in life being more meaningful, in the value they put out to the society, they came on board. So we have like fitness. EJ is coming in for fitness. We've
Who's
got
EJ?
EJ Philip. He's Mr. World Singapore. Yeah, so he's giving our girls 2 months complimentary of fitness because end of the day, pageantry, it's a package. It's not just look good. It's everything. It's how you look, how you walk. You got to command the beauty to get the attention, right? And when attention comes, you create the impact. You use your voice, so the attention comes, and then you get the girls to be strong. Yeah.
Sure. How many contests have you held so far? Of this nature, yes.
Right. So I'm proud to say this is my first
Your
inaugural
first one, huh?
pageant. Yes.
Okay, understood. So
Yes.
inaugural.
My very first.
When successful applicants are told they're accepted, and then you say intense training begins, take us through these training sessions because you've mentioned EJ, the PT, the physical trainer instructor,
Yes.
and these training sessions are carried out by Crown and Curve Academy, which is your company as well, Lavanya.
Yes, that's
Must
right.
they pay to sign up with this academy?
So typically I do charge for my pageant trainings. I charge about 3,000 for 2 months of pageant trainings. But in my competition, because this is mine, it's fully sponsored by me. I go in to give them 3 months worth of training. They
Yeah.
train 3 times a week, very intensively. I think the girls are happy to come down for trainings because we don't just train in catwalk and posture, but we train their mind and their soul. So I really love what you said about Audrey Hepburn earlier. We said that beauty is more than the soul. So that's where beauty really comes about, and we give training in terms of training their mind and their soul to be a beauty queen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these lessons, these deportment, and also whatever it is where they need to take everything when it-
Confidence, communication, public speaking, swimwear, evening gown.
Okay, so everything that comes to do with being a beauty contestant is covered at Crown and Curve Academy, and of course the contestants, like you said, don't have to pay a cent. Veni, can you tell us why you joined to be part of Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026, a contestant? Why choose this pageant over others like Miss Singapore Universe, Miss Singapore World, etc., etc.?
I joined this pageant because I wanted to network with others and meet new people. After joining this pageant and attending the pageant training with Crown and Curve Academy, I actually realized that my true core is wanting a sense of belonging in the community because of my childhood experiences in the past, which I'll be sharing later on.
Okay, so that was quite a lot that you decided to take on when it comes to joining this pageant and bearing in mind your past as well. Tell us about the skincare workshops and confidence coaching sessions that Lavanya told us about just now. What useful lessons would you like to tell us about?
During the skincare and makeup workshops, we learned how makeup can be used to build confidence, guided by Miss and Mrs. ASEAN's lead makeup artist, Sue. And in each training with Crown and Curve Academy, we were also taught mind and soul exercises like standing in front of the mirror and saying, I am confident. One exercise that stayed with me was learning to smile at myself true to the art, because although it's a really simple exercise, it really does a lot to you. And for all the girls as well, we really felt really energized, and we proceeded on with the next training. So it's a really good exercise which everyone should do.
Yeah, just a few words really makes a difference. What made news recently was the Miss Universe 2025 pageant where Miss Mexico, who became Miss Universe, she walked out of a briefing after being scolded by the organizer. Lavanya, what did you learn from that episode, as you too could one day end up in his shoes as the competition and stress heats up? And sometimes, not saying Miss Mexico was one of them, sometimes contestants may not be paying attention or following the rules, and you have to be firm.
To be really honest, I would say that I would never put myself in such a position, because I feel that what happened in that Miss Universe thing is very unfortunate. It should have never taken place in the first place. If you as the main organizer are showing disrespect to the women who's carrying your country, and it's a big pageant platform where we're there to speak about women empowerment, then what are you putting as a message to the world? So I strongly do not agree with his behavior, what he did. But yeah, for Miss and Mrs. ASEAN, my girls are my number one priority. I think all of my sponsors and partners know this. They are my number one priority. I try my best to really take care of them, give them the best experiences. We had a York experience for their swimwear. The kind of venues I choose for them is, I don't go below standard. So I just really want them to feel special, and really just give them that power to use their voice to make a change in the society.
But there are people who can be recalcitrant for whatever reason. They may not want to follow instructions, they might view things differently as you, and they may not want to go with the flow, so to speak. Very
Correct.
strong-minded for whatever reason.
Definitely.
And it could get you quite irritated as well. So you never know. So what could happen in those instances when it comes to a sensitive,
Understand.
where everyone is irritated? How are you going to handle that?
So I think when it comes to leadership, right, you can take the firm approach, but you still always have to be respectful. And we always have to remember, not everyone follows our right. You can't get everybody in the world to love you and follow your leadership, which is fine. I mean, that's how people become leaders, right? But in this competition, there's elimination rounds, and there's so many different pageants, and probably this might not have been the perfect pageant for them, and they might not make it to the next round. So at this point in time, yeah, you just have to form, for me personally, I just make sure my leadership is firm, but at the same time, what is the word, warm with them, you know, I be friends with them as well, and respectful. That's the most important.
Okay, and they also have to bear in mind there are elimination rounds.
Definitely.
Venny, what do you think of the whole Miss Universe 2025 saga?
Okay, so for me, the biggest problem that was highlighted was actually the need for mutual respect and emotional intelligence
Yeah.
from both the organizers as well as the contestants. So this is why modern pageants like Miss and Mrs. ASEAN, they are redefining what pageantry means. And this platform creates women as change makers, not just beauty queens. It proves that pageants can empower them to stand better, stand together, advocate for meaningful causes, and create lasting impact. And I strongly believe in this quote: when purpose leads, beauty naturally flows. Thank you.
Thank you. Beauty is her business. I'm talking about founder and CEO of the Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026 pageant, the inaugural one. Of course, we've been talking to two ladies, but first, the CEO and founder is Lavanya Priya. And also, we've been talking to Krishna Venny or Venny Naidu, contestant at Miss and Mrs. ASEAN 2026. Find them on social media and also see if your favorite contestant wins. This is Made in SG. I'm Melanie Olivero for CNA 938. We'll continue with more chats, but first, let's get to the news. Hold on, I just read the news first, yeah?
Okay.
Understand.
Let's give you the news on CNA 938 with me, Melanie Olivero. The Singapore Civil Defence Force, SCDF, will sound its annual Important Message Signal island-wide on Sunday at 3 p.m. Usually held on the 15th of February at 6:20 p.m. SCDF said the one-off change in date is to mark the commencement of exercise SG Ready 2026 in support of Total Defence Day. The news desk has more for us.
SG Ready is an annual total defense exercise to
Okay,
increase
everyone.
readiness for crises and disruptions.
I
The exercise
will be
held at
reading the
various
news for the
locations
next 10 to
island-wide
12 minutes.
since the
You
past
feel free to stay here, it's no
15th of
problem. But
February this
if
year.
you want to go
The
outside
really
and
important message
go to
to
the
global
ladies, my
standards
colleague
through the
Nixon
public
will
warning
show you where the
system,
ladies
as
is.
well as
But if you want to stay here, it's no problem. It's just that I'll be reading the news, so I'll be quite taken up by coordinating everything here. Yeah, so you decide where you want to go lah.
Alert settings to receive the signal and message.
You can stay here, no problem. It's completely up to you.
To any local
okay.
radio station or media or TV channel for a total defense message when they hear the signal.
Let's move on to more local news now, because 13 people were taken to hospital after an accident along Orchard Road this morning. The Singapore Civil Defence Force said it was alerted to the accident at the junction of Orchard Road and Orchard Link at about 6:20 a.m. 6 people were taken to Tan Tock Seng Hospital, while another 7 were taken to Singapore General Hospital, SGH. 5 people were assessed for minor injuries but declined to be sent to hospital. A video on social media shows a lorry and a car partially on a pavement, with the bumpers of both vehicles dented and a stone bench knocked over. Paramedics could be seen attending to multiple people sitting outside a sporting goods store, with police cars at the scene. Firefighters in Australia are battling several major wildfires across Victoria State as the country endures a record-breaking heatwave. Experts say the disaster is comparable to the 2009 Black Saturday bushfires. CNA's Paul Sung brings us this report featuring a resident in an affected town.
From the blazes have drifted as far as Sydney, with residents waking to hazy conditions this morning. Authorities warn those in coastal areas are most likely to be affected, though the smoke will likely clear by midday. At least 6 fires have been reported in Victoria, half of them burning out of control. An alert for extreme fire danger, including total fire bans, remains in force as hundreds of people nearby were ordered to evacuate.
We're taking precautions as needed, so we're always making sure that we're watching the app. We've got everything packed in the car, so we're pretty much ready to go if we need to evacuate. But I think, just follow what the news is saying and then see where it goes. But hopefully it doesn't get too bad.
Swathes of the country's southeast remain under extreme heat warnings. In Victoria, preliminary readings in 2 locations recorded temperatures as high as 48.9 degrees Celsius. That's beyond the state record set nearly 2 decades ago. State capital Melbourne also recorded its hottest day since Black Saturday, with the mercury topping 45.5 degrees Celsius. Weather officials are flagging that other areas may have experienced even higher temperatures.
And that's a wrap of the news for this hour on CNA 938. Let's bring on Asia Business in just a while.
The CNA Summit 2026, Smart Growth, Navigating Investment and Innovation in a New Era. Join global and regional leaders as they examine how investment and innovation drive long-term competitiveness in one of the world's most dynamic markets, Indonesia. Guest of honor, Mr. Roshan Roslani, Indonesia's Minister of Investment and Downstream Industry, gives a high-level look at how the country attracts quality capital and converts it into sustainable advantage. Hear insights from leaders of GoTo Group, Khazanah, MasterCard, Singtel and Temasek on where global capital is moving, what builds investor confidence and how organizations turn strategic investment into real impact. The CNA Summit 2026, happening in Jakarta for the very first time on 5th February. Find out more at cna.asia/summit. Brought to you by MediaCorp, main partner, Singtel. Hello Possibilities.
Let's give you those Asia business updates. We begin with Indian and European leaders, how they hailed a trade pact between both sides that promises to bring 2 billion people together under a single market. The deal is aimed at boosting two-way trade and reducing their reliance on the US amid growing global tensions. Tariffs will be cut on nearly 97% of EU or European Union exports and 99.5% of Indian exports. This accounts for nearly a quarter of global GDP. The EU and India have been looking to diversify trade ties given uncertainties in trade with the US and China. Both sides also announced a security and defense partnership in areas such as maritime security, cyber threats, and defense dialogues. The president of the European Council, Antonio Costa, highlighted the need for security alongside prosperity.
World, the European Union and India are working together to grow spheres of shared prosperity. But prosperity does not exist without security. Strengthen our cooperation to better protect our citizens and our shared interests. Working together to counter the full range of security threats we face in the Indo-Pacific, in Europe, and around the world, reaching a new level of strategic trust between us.
The Magnificent Seven tech giants will be facing increased scrutiny this earnings season. Worries about an AI bubble are intensifying, and investors are seeking proof that heavy spending is delivering real returns. Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla are set to report results after the bell tomorrow, while Apple follows the next day. This earnings season is the first opportunity for big tech bosses to detail their AI spending plans, and as tech mega caps move from announcing data center projects to actually constructing them, investors will be closely watching for guidance on when the AI build-outs could become profitable. Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, and Amazon are expected to raise capital spending on AI to more than $400 billion in 2026, according to FactSet estimates. That's up from around $350 billion last year. Social media giants are set to face a US court this week over allegations that their platforms are fueling a mental health crisis among young people in America. It is the first of several cases expected to go to trial this year involving kids' screen time and addiction. TikTok has agreed to settle just before the jury selection was due to begin in California. It's mirroring Snapchat's move last week and has not disclosed the terms of the settlement. Experts say its move could indicate its unwillingness to provide certain information at the trial. The defendants now include Instagram and Facebook owner Meta, as well as YouTube parent company Google. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is expected to testify, and let's hear more from Ira Spitzer.
settled this lawsuit along with Snap, but jury selection has begun in Los Angeles, with Meta and YouTube still facing claims that their products are addictive and harmful to children. The lawsuit was filed by a California woman, now 20 years old, who says she became addicted to social media as a child, starting with YouTube at age 8 and then moving on to Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. She claims the platforms contributed to anxiety, depression, and body image issues. Lawyers for the plaintiffs say the companies knowingly built addictive features, such as infinite scrolling, videos that play automatically, and algorithmic recommendations, even after internal research warned that those tools could harm young users. They plan to convince jurors that these features don't just encourage use, but cause compulsive behavior and real-world harms. The tech platforms have argued that there is no scientific proof that social media causes addiction, and also say that federal law shields them from liability for user content. A ruling against the companies could open the door to thousands of additional lawsuits and force changes to how the platforms are designed, especially with regard to children. These cases have been compared to the legal approach used against big tobacco last century, which resulted in major changes to that industry. The trial comes as governments around the world, from Australia to parts of Asia and Europe, move to restrict children's access to social media.
Ira Spitzer with a wrap of Asia Business on CNA 938.
Page Turners with Melanie Oliveira.
Yes, indeed, I'm Melanie Oliveira for CNA 938. It's time for some Page Turner snippets before we return to our interview. Irish author and journalist. A 14-year-old Singaporean student has been dealt with under the Internal Security Act. He was self-radicalized online by the Islamic State extremist ideologies. The Internal Security Department says the youth aspired to travel overseas to fight for ISIS and die a martyr. Under a restriction order, he is barred from changing residence, traveling overseas, or accessing the internet without the ISD's approval. Ongoing tunnel strengthening works on the Circle Line are expected to be on track and to be completed by the 19th of April. About 10% of the steel rings have been successfully installed. Due to the works, trains are running on a single platform between 3 Circle Line stations, and they are Mountbatten, Dakota, and Paya Lebar. Senior Minister of State for Transport Sun Xueling says around 30,000 commuters have used the shuttle bus services connecting the affected stations over the past 5 weekdays. 13 people were taken to hospital after an accident at the junction of Orchard Road and Orchard Link early this morning. A video on social media shows a lorry and a car partially on a pavement in front of the Adidas brand center on Orchard Road. A truck aiming to promote the multicultural heritage of Chingay is making its rounds in Singapore. It'll go to schools and community events, reaching 250,000 children and parents. The My Little Chingay float will have interactive games to share the knowledge of the parade's history. Children can also design their own digital float. Headlines anytime on CNA 938 and CNA.Asia.
I went to the Gaeltacht as a kind of a learning Irish school program type thing, but didn't have much engagement with the Irish language. And, you know, that was a kind of a fascinating space that, why didn't I speak Irish? Obviously, you know, we can go back to...
Okay, next time, Dan, thank you.
First, to show the dreadful laws that they introduced to annihilate and basically try and kill off the Irish language. Really, once we
Okay, everyone, I have to take the pictures now because after this, after our interview, I've got to go straight to another interview. So is it okay if we take some pictures now? We've got about 2.5 minutes, so we've got a good amount of time. So would you like to, I'll take my picture first. If you could come over here to be with me. And also, if you're taping this, just remember that this is priority to MediaCorp, so you have to blur it as well. Yeah. Thank you, Sure. Thank you. Stop all the time.